guys, and welcome back to another episode of EyeWonder. Today, I wonder what it's like to be a fourth-year medical student and what kind of advice they have for high schoolers, college students, and fellow medical students. So why don't we start with introductions. My name is Virginia, and I'm one of the high school interns at the hospital.
Hi, my name is Manasi Joshi. I am a fourth-year medical student at Baylor College of Medicine.
Hey Virginia, thanks for having us here. My name is Anvi Tanwadkar. I'm also a fourth year at Baylor.
So why don't we go ahead and get started with high school. So a lot of high schoolers are wondering what they can do now to get prepared for, college, medical school, and becoming a doctor in the future.
So in high school, there's a few things that you need to do to prepare for college. So you have to have an undergraduate degree to go to medical school. So first step is going to college. A few things you need to do: SAT, AP exams if applicable, and then you need to make sure that you have some extracurriculars as well. The main things that serve you well into medical school are good study habits and good wellness habits that can keep you supported even all the way 10 years down the line.
Completely agree. I think high school is a really important time to prepare for college in terms of finding your interests. Be open to exploration, hobbies. When you go into college, be open to things you may not have heard before that you find that you're very passionate about. Not necessarily related to medicine either. So go into it with an open mind.
Yeah, and then the next step is college, obviously. And a lot of college students are wondering, what kind of majors they have to be doing, or if there are any majors that they should be doing.
So when it comes to selecting a major, it's a very personal decision. There are a few things that you need to know when you're applying to medical school, though. No matter where you apply to medical school, no matter what your major is, you'll need to complete pre-med classes. These are introductory biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, biochemistry, and there may or may not be a few more. I think I'm remembering all of them.
Yeah, I think so. There might be a few more, but your pre-med advising at your college will be really helpful to making sure that you check all the boxes. But also be open to exploring interdisciplinary fields. A lot of times medicine has a lot of overlap with policy, with business. So when you're choosing a major in college, it doesn't have to necessarily be biochemistry. It doesn't have to necessarily be a quote-unquote STEM major. It can be anything that you're interested in, and you'll find some application for it in medicine.
For example, I was a policy studies major and an anthropology major, and I feel that the knowledge I gained about policy has affected how I see patients who are impacted by policies today, such as healthcare policy, and also my understanding of cultures of the world and social theory still helps me understand patients who are coming from a very different place culturally or socially than I am.
And now we get to med school. Can you tell us about joint programs and specialties and getting into that kind of stuff in med school?
Yeah, so I can take a swing at this one. So in college, I was a biochemistry major, but I was also a business minor. And so when you're in med school, you have the opportunity to do something called a dual degree. So not just an MD or medical degree, but also potentially a master's in policy or master's in business. Those are called dual degree programs. And a lot of times there are career paths that are more conducive to certain dual degrees.
Other dual degrees include a master's in public health or even a PhD if you have an interest in being a basic science researcher. When you graduate from medical school, you can do simultaneously an MD and a PhD.
And then what about getting into different specialties?
Again, just like choosing a major, choosing a specialty is a very personal choice. There are many different factors to consider, like what the day-to-day looks like, what intellectually interests you, what kind of mentorship you have in each field, what you see yourself doing truly from your core. Both of us have decided to do ophthalmology as our specialty, which is why we're here rotating with Dr. Lee. However, we had many different interests, including internal medicine, OBGYN briefly, general surgery. So the main thing is to keep an open mind when you do your rotations and learn as much as you can, because even if you decide to specialize in the eye, all of that other stuff still is essential to your care of a complete patient, because you never see just an eye in clinic.
And we see this every day with Dr. Lee. There's so much overlap with the disease that we see in the eye, with the disease we see in the rest of the body. So it's very, very important to not narrow in on one specialty and ignore the rest of what you're learning in med school. And more common than not, a lot of med students will come in thinking one thing and then completely change by the end of it. Your rotations are the most important thing in determining whether you actually want to go into a field that you're interested in. And so I think going into ophthalmology, yes, it's very specialized, but all of what you learn in med school comes into play.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences and your advice for our viewers. And to our viewers, if you have any questions that you want answered, then go ahead and leave them in the comments and we can go ahead and answer them.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.